That's right, Bikeaholics. This episode is brought to you by our friends over at Biker Planet. It's more than just the largest niche biker dating site. It's an entire social community of bikers, guys. Make sure to check it out for us using our custom link, of course, so you can get all the perks. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/Biker Planet and show them some love for us, huh? Hey, Bikeaholics and listeners alike, the show is still going strong because of a lot of hard work and your support, of course. Thanks to all those loyal listeners and true friends of the show that have supported us or are supporting us. For less than a coffee a month, you can help support us too and put a little fuel in the law-abiding biker gas tank to make sure this show keeps moving on down the road. So, calling all law-abiding bikers, head over to our Patreon page and take action today. You can do so at lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. Oh, did I mention there's benefits too? From all your friends at lawabidingbiker.com, we appreciate each and every one of you. God bless and ride safe. Oh, Chewy. You feel it? You feel it? Oh, I feel it. I'm just going to rock out for a minute. That's what I do for Jake, and he just stares at me.
Nice.
I'm going to play the air guitar.
He doesn't know anything about rock music. That's the problem.
Right, exactly. Do you like my air guitar?
Oh, that's great.
Does it look like I'm really playing? I mean, if you didn't know, if you were partially blind, would it look like I'm actually playing a guitar in front of you?
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
Yeah, all right, whatever. All right, welcome back, all you freaking Bikeaholics. This is the podcast for the motorcycle majority, the big MM, also known as the
99%.
That's right, straight at the camera. Did you see that? Chewy knows what's going on. That's right, guys. By listening to this very podcast, more than any time in history, whether you like it or not, you're part of what we call the biker revolution. That's right. What are you waiting for, guys? Mount up. Let me and Chewy take you on another wild-ass ride. That's right. Welcome, guys. Ryan Erlacher here, your host of the Law Abiding Biker Podcast and your high-tech redneck. Oh,
I had it, but you did. You got it.
Dude, nice.
I was going to get it.
Chewy heard me, and he was going to say the high-tech redneck, but then I saw he was starting to take a drink of his beverage, and so I held it for him, but I should trust you, dude. I should trust that you had it covered.
Like I said, I'm a pretty big deal.
You probably could have sipped
down
and said it at the same time while you were sipping.
Yep.
God, Chewy.
It's been a while. Yeah.
There you go, dude. It has been a minute since you've been in the studio. Of course, y'all heard that is the man, the myth, the legend, Chewy. And thanks for being here. Say hi to the Blabosphere. We're live on Blab.
Thanks for having me. Yep.
Yeah. So it's your first time live on Blab with us.
First time live, yeah.
Done a lot of podcasts, Chewy has.
Yeah.
But his first time actually on the Blab platform. And
yes.
That's just mostly because Chewy's just
change of job description.
Right. Nicely put.
Yeah.
Nicely put.
Yeah.
If you guys want to get hooked up, all of you listening, thanks for the claps, guys. If you guys want to, we talked about it before. Everybody seems to like this live video. And of course, you listening in podcast format, all of our stuff will go out in regular podcast format. So don't worry about it if you do miss it live. We love having you live. We love having you in the chat and all that kind of stuff. So please try to get a live experience because it's a different experience than, Yeah,
this is cool. I like this.
Yeah. But of course, you can get it in the podcast format. But just make sure at some point, however you're listening, head over to lawabidingbiker.com/live. Hit that page up. That is our live page. Sign up for the free email list, that particular email list. You'll only get an email when we're going live. It's in the upper right-hand corner of that page. And I will send you an email, and there's a huge button on it that says, come back at this time, blah, blah, blah. It says what the topic is, and it takes you hit it, watch live, or whatever it is, whether it's Blab, and it takes you right to that Blab page, and then you can experience the live chat. We're doing a lot of stuff with Blab now. We're doing the live. We can actually let people in. It's kind of like a call-in, so we can open up a seat, and that's been very successful. We've got a lot of good feedback on this. So as we go into 2016, we're going to continue with that mission of providing what you guys want. And fortunately, Blab is free right now. And so it's in beta, but we're utilizing the heck out of it. It allows us to chat right there. I see in the chat, Big Daddy was in there.
All right.
So,
I think it's huge having a video. It's good for the audience. They can not just hear our voice, but they can put a face to that voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
it's a pretty cool experience.
Yeah. And we can shout out and point at the camera.
Right.
Look at that. I'm pointing at
We love
Chewy.
all of you.
We love you guys. The Blab seats, guys. So if you want to take a seat, just understand I can't maybe let you in right away because we might be in the middle of something, but I will try to let you in if you have something that's relevant to the topic that we're talking about, and you want to give a quick shout out or say something you saw, or just real quick say hi, that's fine. Big Daddy's in the chat room. Big Daddy, of course, you're welcome in if you want to chime in. You've got a mic down there that I sent you. We're still waiting for Matt Pass. Let me check so Matt Pass was supposed to be with us, and using my phone, I can see you, though thought we were Skyping. Chrome isn't working for me, unfortunately. Nope, we're on Blab. I'm apologizing to Matt Pass. We can't get on Skype. I just said, so sorry, bro. We sent emails ahead for him, and there's nothing I can do. We're already up on Blab. So you just got to sign in with Twitter, brother, and then you can open up a seat. If you can see us, Matt Pass, then you can ask to request a seat. I know Rob did it. Geez.
Dude, this is really smooth.
Isn't it
Using
smooth?
it on my phone.
It is.
The picture's right there, and then you can, type what you want to say.
Yeah.
It's
all
smooth.
one place.
Works really good.
And everybody seems to be liking it. And so, Matt Pass, I know you're watching live. You can just request a seat, bro. You just got to request a seat, and I'll see the request, and then I can let you in. But we got to move on. We got to move forward on that. We'll wait, and I'll see if you can, because LD did it on our 100th anniversary episode. He did it from his phone, and he set up the app, and he called in and requested a seat, and I let him right in.
Cool.
So I know it can be done, buddy. I know it can be done. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that you can get in. So Chewy,
Yes.
You've been gone for a while, and only because the schedule change and some, stuff like that going down that kind of threw you for a loop, and your schedule changes. It just hasn't been working out. So tell us what's new, dude. What's new?
Just, just protecting and serving out there, and the different job description, and working on the bike. Put some different parts on the bike. Gonna do the gloss black look. I after that accident.
Yeah, right.
About a year ago.
Yep.
So I was wanting to do it then, and then I had the accident, and so got some money put back into the bike, and so now I'm gonna do away with the chrome look on the engine, and do some gloss black to it, and put in a Bluetooth stereo and things like that. So I'm ready for summer.
Yeah,
ready to get out and ride. We've had a long winter. But I've been busy, with the new job thing, and I'm just glad to be here. It's glad to be back with the family.
What do you think of that new sofa you're sitting on?
Oh, it's so comfy.
Can thank the patrons out there.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much.
All of you patrons out there, Summer Live. If you want to support us via Patreon, guys, seriously, that is the kind of stuff, dude. Because Chewy knows we had a broke down old couch. I mean, it worked. It worked. It did work.
Yeah.
It was pretty gross.
Yeah. We sunk down in it.
You sunk down in it, dude. It was hard to get out of.
Yeah.
And so the patrons are the ones.
They're absolutely why we're here. So
yes,
thank you guys very much.
I agree.
Yep.
Well said. Yep. They bought that couch, and I still didn't go out of control. I still buy it at IKEA. I'm still just trying to save pennies because it costs a lot to run this operation. And, but it's a cool couch for us, and it's leather. So it's, and it sits
very
up
comfy.
more. Yep. And it's a little bit spill proof. If if that
just
happens,
wipe it up.
Right. Just wipe it up, buddy.
If Jake Church is here, you're going to have to wipe up.
Oh God. No doubt, dude. You hit that right. So let's thank a couple patrons real quick. Do you want to thank these guys? Mm-hmm.
First patron we're going to thank is Hassan Al Rashidid. I'm sorry if I butchered that.
You may have, but I'm not saying.
And we're not sure where you're from. But thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Sometimes we aren't, depending on if they put their address. Go ahead.
And then Tim Harvath of Appleton, Wisconsin. Thank you very much, Tim. And Sam Jones of Quiero, Texas.
There you go. Thanks guys. Yep. Very, very nice. Very cool. Thank you, each and every one of you. You are the reason that that the guys over there are sitting on a new couch. And over time, we've been able to upgrade audio gear. We've talked about that. If you want to become involved, head over to lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. That is right. You can pledge a certain amount per piece of content that we put out. If you love it and you appreciate it and you wait for it, and that's right, no risk. You can put a monthly cap so you don't go over your family budget. There's absolutely no risk over there, guys. It's very straightforward. lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon. Take action like they have, guys. And we do so much. There's benefits. There's private Facebook group that a lot of them are in, depending on what level. Some have access to premium videos, for sale videos, and all that kind of stuff. And we give t-shirts we send out and all. It's great. And the community.
Yep. We really can't say how much we appreciate it in words, but it is truly appreciated what you guys do. And you guys are the reason we're here. You guys are the reason we put out the content and the reason we're enjoying ourselves.
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
thank you.
And it gives us some operating abilities that we just wouldn't been able to move to this point without that. So it is cool. Chewy, the main topic, it is pretty controversial. The main topic tonight is going to be the Colorado biker shooting recently. We're going to get into that in just a moment. And again, if you guys want to grab a seat later, or Big Daddy down there, if you want to mic up and grab a seat, you could certainly come on in, because I'm not sure if Matt Pass is going to make it. He's having all kinds of technical difficulties, and I feel bad.
Oh, that stinks.
Down there in California.
Love to have him on here.
Oh man, he really has a lot of knowledge on topics like this. Real quick, new free video, guys. Head over to if you want to see it. It's been out for a lot of you guys know about it. It's very, very popular. And if you're looking for some advice on good rain gear for trips, and Chewy,
I know about rain gear.
Tell me your story.
I know,
because that's actually, I just thought about it. Tell me about your story. Everybody does this once.
I believe we were
one
headed
time.
Wyoming, right?
Yeah.
To Wyoming. We were going through Yellowstone.
Yep.
And it just started,
2 years ago, right?
Yes. Started downpouring. And of course, me being the tough guy that I am, I don't need rain gear. It's going to be fine.
This is all I heard, dude, when it started raining.
Yeah.
Straight up, dude.
And I was like 5 bikes behind you too.
Yeah.
No, it was a mess. It was a huge mess. I was just drenched. So,
frozen. Dude, I felt so bad for you.
Yeah, it was bad. It was horrible.
And you did that once.
I pretty much almost died.
I'm pretty much sure you almost died, dude. You only do that once, right?
No. Yep. I learned my lesson that day. The very next day we got up, I'm like, I'm going and I'm buying rain gear.
Yep.
And that's what I did.
Yep. So. You'll never be wet and cold again, guys.
Gotta have it.
And that's what that video, and it's free on YouTube, guys. And it was some rain gear that I tested. And we did a lot of work on this review, and there's shots of us riding in the rain, and I go over every little bit of this piece of gear. And it is called, they're not currently a sponsor or anything, but it's called Olympia Horizon Rain Gear. That I bought. I did a lot of research, and then I tested it over a year for you guys, and then I did a review on it. And you can get it directly, the article. You can get, there's some affiliate links over there if you do end up purchasing, if you like what I had to say, and you're like, yeah, I need a good pair of rain gear. I think it's one of the best for what we do, which is, touring bikers.
Do you know how the price compares to like Harley? Because Harley's
it's actually a little bit cheaper, and it's better quality.
Oh, good.
Yep. Olympia Horizon Rain Gear. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/Olympia Rain Gear. The videos over there, the affiliate links, the description, and everything. And that video is getting rave reviews.
Awesome.
Put a lot of work into it, but it's a great review, and I'm sold on that gear. So don't forget, guys, there are affiliate links. If you ever want to buy gear, lawabidingbiker.com/banners, BANNERS. After you click through any of those banners, if you do make a purchase, we get a small kickback. Helps us put a little fuel in the Law Abiding Biker gas tank so we can keep this thing going on down the road for you guys.
Yeah.
And Revzilla's over there. Really, that's where I got mine. I strongly encourage you to use our Revzilla banner over there, lawabidingbiker.com/Revzilla. Bookmark that stuff, guys, and just call it Help Lab. And anytime you do purchase something, we get a kickback. So with that said, let's get into our main topic. And that is, and I know you've done some research on this. It's a hot topic, guys. That's why we kind of batch process. That's why not every episode is live, because we do a little batch processing of episodes. So sometimes we'll do one live and then we'll record one not live afterwards.
Yep.
We do have several in the bucket, but sometimes these current events, and a lot of guys ask us to go ahead and report on this stuff, because it seems, which we're going to get into, that we're one of the only sources that reports fair and balanced, and really just looks at the facts instead of, special interest. And we're going to talk a lot about basement bloggers, all your dumbass basement bloggers out there. And you guys know who they are, that just have no credibility except with dirtbags, so to speak. They have credibility with less than 1% of the motorcycle population, and they like to put out their filth, and they're just trash sites, and they let anybody comment. They don't have any control over their comments, no moderation. And you can tell the guys that write those comments, you're Yeah, about a third grade education because the guy can't even complete a sentence. It's bad. So we're going to talk, and that's why Law-Abiding Biker is growing so big, especially during times when this stuff happens. We just trump those other sites. Absolutely trump those basement bloggers in the amount of views, which why there's major news publications that are linking Chewy to our articles now.
Awesome.
They're linking to us as a source of information.
Good stuff.
Right.
Yep.
And that's what the Law-Abiding Biker community needed. And that's what we try to provide is, we are the loudest voice.
We present the information that we know.
Exactly.
Not what we really think, but if we know what the information is, we will present it to you.
Yeah. Nicely said. Nicely said, bud. Yeah. And so, we're reporting it we are the voice, right? We're the motorcycle majority.
Absolutely.
We are the ones out there. The less than 1% don't have a voice as far as I'm concerned. It's a less than 1% voice, which is what they should have.
Absolutely.
We've got the voice. We've got the power. We've got the money. And we support the motorcycle industry. It ain't less than 1%. It is us.
That's right.
We are the guys that actually make their industry go forward. And so people really like it. And so that's why we jump on these articles. And thanks for the claps, guys, on that. Really appreciate the claps.
We got 81 now.
Yeah, I know. We're 86. You're a little behind me.
We're growing.
We are growing. And so I did some articles, guys. And in the show notes at lawabidingbiker.com/ on whichever episode this number is, you can always get the episode notes at lawabidingbiker.com/ and the episode number. It's that simple. I'll have links to the 2 articles. I put those out right away. It took a minute to organize this podcast, but I'll like I say, I'll link to those articles. If you're watching live right now and you want to see the articles, just go to lawabidingbiker.com and just scroll down the homepage. I know that went off, Chewy, but do you need it right now?
No.
Because we're not going to talk about anything that you don't know.
Yeah.
If you do need it up, let me know.
No.
That's just some technical difficulties here, guys. I should have did a little something different, and the show notes are disappearing from the screen where Chewy is. But so it was the Colorado biker shooting, guys. We're going to get right into it. And if you want, like I say, go to the site if you want to follow along, or if you're listening in podcast format later, you can go to the show notes and the links are there. If you want to look at these articles that I did, they're getting a ton of press. And I'm not trying to be egotistical about that, but the way I write them is I believe, so fair and balanced that unless you're just an idiot, you come here and you look and you're like, okay, he isn't taking sides. He's just trying to report on the facts.
That's exactly what we do here.
Yep.
We don't take sides.
Exactly. We may take sides once the facts are out.
Exactly.
But that's because there's evidence to base our opinion on, right?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So this Colorado biker shooting happened January 30th. I'll set the premise up. January 30th, 2016 at the Motorcycle Expo and National Western Complex in Denver, Colorado, dude.
Expo.
Dude.
Pretty big festival, eh?
Yeah. It's a family event.
Man.
And that's what's concerning about some of this. There was a lot of, you read that, right? A lot of kids and families.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So I'm making some notes right here, Chewy, some stuff we may have time to comment on. But yeah, so family
some pretty
event.
Upset people about what happened.
Yeah, what do you know about that?
Just some of the people they interviewed on the news that I was, looking at some articles.
Like just regular people.
Just regular people. Bikers. Just the 99% is what it is. And
that are there for legitimate purposes.
Upset that, their families were, their families' lives were at stake and things like that because of stupidity.
Right. Yeah, there is. And they should be.
Yeah.
The law-abiding bikers that were there holding down they're the ones that are spending the money there. The less than 1% ain't spending nothing. They're not,
in my mind, I think they go there looking for trouble, really.
Well, yeah, and likely so, we see it. They're surrounded by trouble. We've talked about it, there's evidence of that. We're not just saying that. There's evidence, there's arrests, there's people in prison for the kinds of...
And that's why they're 1%. That's why they claim to be 1%.
Exactly. Yeah. And wear it proudly.
Exactly.
So thank you. And,
on their vest.
Right. And so they should never deny that's what that patch means.
Yep.
And so, but then they try to deny it sometimes and I don't understand it. I'm not dogging them. I'm just like, don't deny it. That's what you wear the 1% patch. Be proud of it.
Yep.
Just be proud of it. Just
when
say,
I put my cut on, the sworn few cut.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of that.
Exactly.
And I'll tell anyone we are a motorcycle club, but we are law enforcement, and I'm very proud of that.
Right.
I have 17 years into the profession.
Right.
And, the sworn few is my family. I'm very proud of that. So don't try to hide the fact. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. And that's what I'm saying.
If you're a 1%er, that's what you are. You're technically, and what from what we know, 1%ers they're the criminal aspect of it. So
Right, exactly. And so if you're going to wear it, dude, you're on, Matt Pass.
there he is.
Check that out.
Dude, hey, sorry,
Holy hell.
The second,
Is this microphone working?
try talking directly in it.
Is it working now?
Oh, yeah.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah, it's
Sweet.
Do I have to make out with this thing? Is that what I got to do?
right, exactly.
I
You
gotta
do.
get real close to it.
Ryan's
Sorry about
pretty
the
good at
confusion.
it.
I was using a different PC, and the dangle. I had a switch, so I'm using my work PC. So I'll have some explaining to do on a Monday or no Tuesday, since we got that day off. So just kidding.
Oh, God, dude.
Sorry, guys.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Abrupt. Yeah. It's good to see you guys too.
Glad you're here,
I was listening to you talk. I was like, they're going to start talking smack on me any minute. I can hear everything you're saying.
No doubt. So
anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's all right. It's good to see your face, and thanks for working on getting up and going. I will tell you that the second part of that, we're still learning, Blab, dude. And the second part, the reason you couldn't get in is because I had the seat locked. It was my fault. And so I opened.
Oh, okay.
So just now I looked at it. We were talking. I'm like, I'm a freaking idiot. And so I opened the seat up, which allowed you to even request a seat, and then I can accept you. So I'm learning this, and that second part, I take full responsibility for that. You couldn't get a seat right away. So I'm sorry.
Well,
about
in that case, I knew that the whole time. Then, in that case, yeah.
Oh, so we're just getting started here, and Matt Pass, and you've kind of been watching. So we're at the point we're just setting it up, and I'll just ask. So here's what I got: January 30th, 2016, Motorcycle Expo at National Western Conference Complex in Denver, Colorado. It was a fatal shooting, guys. There was a stabbings and shootings. There were 7 injured, 1 fatality. It was between the Mongols, 1% outlaw motorcycle gang, and the Iron Order, which claim law-abiding biker status. And from everything we can research, we find that to be true.
Some law-abiding people. Well, no, actually they are. Yeah,
they are,
and
because
law enforcement are involved.
Right.
But they're all law-abiding bikers.
Correct. Yeah. That is what their status they claim. And like I say, I can find nothing. And I searched far and wide. I can't find anything to the contrary except basement bloggers who have zero evidence. And
basement bloggers. Is that an actual?
I made it up.
You made it up. Okay. That's awesome.
So it's funny. You're right about that basement blogger stuff. It's a few things have come up here and there about there's some malicious crimes. They're associated with some malicious crimes, I think, and maybe I'm getting that wrong. Maybe the word wasn't malicious, but there was a few sites, but they would never mention what crimes. Would the guy get a speeding ticket? Did someone get a DUI? Ooh, you know what I mean? Come on. So, I don't know. I'm making an assumption there as well, but not one site or one basement blogger had mentioned any type of major criminal activity within the group.
Correct. Well said. Well said. And, when we talk about we all know, some of those basement bloggers. But yeah, and we've never said here on Law Abiding Biker, but we've said it before, Matt, and just because you get a speeding ticket or you get, you screw up and you get a DUI, that doesn't make you not a law-abiding biker.
No.
If you get 10 DUIs in a row, well, you're an idiot. And no, you're purposely going out. But if you make a mistake and you learn from it and then your record's clean after that, well, you're a law-abiding biker. You just made a mistake. That shit happens,
Trust me, cops have made mistakes. You know what I mean?
Totally.
It happens.
And people see, so people see the law-abiding biker status and they think, oh, you got to be squeaky clean. No. What we're saying is law-abiding bikers don't go out and purposely traffic in weapons and traffic in drugs and commit criminal acts, and they wear a 1% patch. That's what makes you're the motorcycle majority. You are out there. You're a hard worker. You try to do good. You try to contribute to society. You like motorcycles.
Pay your taxes. All that kind of good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have all your friends in prison, and so good point, Matt Pass. That's what makes the law-abiding biker. You're right. It's not the guy that screws up once and all that kind of stuff. So, so that is my term, the basement bloggers, sitting in their underwear in their mom's basement still, and they're about 40 years old, and they're trying to make something out of nothing. And I was saying, Matt Pass, and those guys, they have less than 1% of the motorcycle audience. So their blog gets like 5 hits a day, and it's the same 5 guys. Where this website just goes nuts when I post these articles, and we do so much so that people are literally, dude, the emails have flooded the Facebook messages. People are like banging our door down to do an episode.
I've said it a couple of times. We're a pretty big deal.
Well, you're right on top of the SOE too. When you type in certain searches, even when you're searching out the Colorado shooting, your article pops up at search engine optimization, or SEO. Excuse me, I said SOE. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's relevant content associated with your search on the internet. So that's awesome, Ryan. Whatever you're doing, it's working.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Yeah, a lot of hard work and cranking out. I got off work and I saw this break, and I know you notified me of it and a bunch of other people. And I literally, came home from a 12-hour shift 2 nights in a row and wrote the article. And then I wrote a second article about a day and a half later, but I was up till like 1 a.m. because this kind of stuff you can't really sit on. It's got to be out.
Yeah, you got to get it out.
And you want the correct word out. So I did notice that, Matt. Yeah. We, once we get a little traction and people start commenting on our articles and people start linking to them, and the Denver Post actually linked to one of my articles on that Nippers,
right?
Sweet.
And they're so that's all part of SEO, because that's called backlinking. And when you have a known source backlinking to your articles, Google sees it as a trusted source of that. So anyways, I could get all geeky on that. I know Matt Pass knows what I'm talking about, but all right. With that said,
you just lost me, dude.
Yeah, Chewy's over here just as smoke coming out of his
talking about
ears.
Search engine optimization and sponsorships and things. And it's like people doing things because they get paid, and that's just really sad.
Mm-hmm. I like your mug, brother.
Yeah,
it's pretty badass. So with that said, and we'll just get into an open discussion. Obviously, we've already talked about basement bloggers. Be careful of that stuff. I was telling him, Matt Pass, what's interesting is, so on my articles, I try to be a respectable source of information. And so I use a platform called Discus, and you actually have to have a legitimate email address, and you kind of have to sign up for Discus. And we look at the comments. Mm-hmm. If you get on there, even if you disagree, as long as you keep it respectful, I have no problem with people disagreeing. I'm okay with opinions, really.
Absolutely, yeah.
But have some evidence, back it up, something that says, hey, I did public disclosure and I have arrest records for an Iron Order member, or something like that. Okay, right. Send it. I'm okay, dude. I'm open, man. Yep. You got to do evidence. You can't just trash talk. And so that's what happens on these basement blogger sites, is they have a bunch of, less than 1%ers or whatever, and they comment, and there's no moderation. It's Scrappy Do 213 and 1%er Nation 1.
Yeah.
And you don't know who these guys are, and they write like third graders, and there's no moderation. And so you can't get a good conversation on a blog like that, which is why they don't rank high, because it's the same people over and over.
Who wants to listen to that garbage anyway?
Right. I don't mind a good debate. I love debate.
Yeah.
I'm a master debater, but
you're a master debater.
A master baiter. But you got to have a conversation that makes sense, and there's some evidentiary value. And maybe that's just who I am, but I don't mind debate as long as you have some point, except that it's a government conspiracy. The guys from Mars, there's Martians on Mars. They came down. They're feeding the government pills, and it's law enforcement is all bad, and everybody's bad, and it's all a conspiracy, and you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
That you can't do that with me. I'm not game for that. So so we do have a little bit of at least moderation, and that's the difference between a good blog and a basement blogger.
Absolutely.
All your normal websites that are reputable have some sort of sign in where you have to at least give an email address to become a Discus member, to where you comment. So there's some legitimacy of who you are.
Right.
You can still screw the system, but at least there's something, So with that, Matt Pass, let's just do a round table, and then I have notes, but we'll take it from there. We'll see where the conversation goes. Okay. And we do have open seats in Blab. And again, if you guys want to try to take a seat, go ahead. I may not be able to let you in right away, but I'll try to let you in. If you have something to say about this conversation. So Matt Pass, You're coming in great. You're coming in clear. Your mic sounds great. And so I don't think there's much of a delay. So that's very helpful. Why don't you just tell us some upfront thoughts about this shooting, and we'll see where it takes us, and then we'll do our roundhouse.
Well, what I found, and hopefully I'm going to keep a good distance away from this, so interrupt me if I mess up the mic. It's the first time I'm using it since you sent it to me, so I'm excited too.
Sounds good. Sounds really good.
You sound good, and
awesome.
just to let you know, the distance you are is just phenomenal, man. You sound like you're in the room with us.
Perfect. I had beans for breakfast with my omelet, so I'm going to try to keep those sounds under control. But since this thing's working so well, but no, seriously. So I think what I found interesting in when I was trying to do some research on this shooting in general is there was a lot less content, and I don't know if maybe a lot less coverage or details in general that have been released.
Exactly.
Obviously, it's not going to get a lot of coverage as the Texas shooting did, not as much as the Florida shooting, but a lot of these different shootings and things that have been consistent throughout the times as far as media coverage. There's a lot more details come up, a lot more conspiracy theories come up. I haven't really seen that many. With that said, unfortunately, what I find here, if we're just talking about thoughts, is there's a couple things that stand out for me, which is really disturbing. Is one, that this, and every state looks at correction agencies and correctional officers differently, as whether they're sworn, not sworn, law enforcement, non-law enforcement, what level 1, level 2. I know here in California, the California Department of Corrections officers, one of the largest law enforcement branches in the world, and they're considered sworn. They carry off duty without a CCW, all that good stuff. But in Colorado, it's a little different, level 1 or level 2 peace officer. However, with all that said, without getting into the weeds of all that, this shooting involved someone which I would consider law enforcement, right? And involved a correctional officer. So all of the different theories and things that I've been seeing floating around out there all surround the Iron Order being hypothetically a cop club. And all of a sudden now it's an officer involved shooting, or a law enforcement individual shooting an outlaw biker, right? Or a rival biker gang. Because everyone labels them now biker gang against biker gang, right?
Yep.
That's all that's been out there. And it's been ridiculous. So unfortunately, and I think this go back to many past episodes, many similar podcasts as this one as well, covering these same topics, as far as the worst thing that can happen for any type of law enforcement club or law enforcement associated club that allow law enforcement members in is something like this happen, where there's an officer involved in the shooting of another individual, whether it was fatal or not. So that's most of the coverage that I've seen, whether it's a basement blogger or whether or not it's somebody offering an opinion or coming up with some theory. Now it's even gone as far, and I'll push the pause button after this, which really concerns me. There was an article saying that Lieutenant Colonel Jason Brown was now going to push for the Iron Order to be listed on the part of the top 7, which would make a top 8 outlaw gang affiliation, outlaw motorcycle gang, so that people in the military cannot join the Iron Order MC. So, wow. Depending on what's going to be dug up on the Iron Order and everything else, like you said, everything that we've been digging up doesn't show that. I was in the military police corps. I have buddies of mine that are in the Iron Order. I rode with them a couple times. There was a time where I was considering joining that MC, and I'll be honest with you. The situation that's going on right now is one of the reasons why I didn't. It's not that I thought the club was doing anything wrong. The reason I did not pursue it any further is because all of the other OMG clubs really despise them and hate them for other said reasons that we'll probably dive into and that you've also covered on other podcasts as well, such as with Izod, right? So I'll push the pause button there. Those are my concerns. Those are my findings. And those are my opinions thus far. And it's really concerning, this one.
Matt, a lot of information there.
Telling you, Matt Pass, I love having him on because he's I just made I can't write fast enough to make the notes and the points he brings up to later.
Great.
And he pauses it, and then we can dive in and break. No, Matt Pass, seriously, I'm not blowing smoke up your skirt. I really do appreciate having you on, man. You're passionate. You're great. You should, like I said, he's a podcaster, dude. He freaking was born to be a podcaster, dude. Yeah. Okay, so do you have anything to say on that, on some of the points you brought up?
He hit a lot of the points. There in law enforcement with corrections and police, there are some different trainings that we go through. I know our academy is a little bit longer. Actually, it's quite a bit longer. But in regards to firearms at the range, shooting and stuff like that, I believe the state, at least where we are, is the same. You got to qualify.
Right.
And, they go to the range, they fire, they qualify with us. I know our jailers, our corrections officers that, at the PD where I work, we all go qualify.
Right.
And they have to qualify just like we do. So, and I think that when you look at the Iron Order, they've had some issues. They've been involved in some things, but I don't believe it's necessarily, the Iron Order's fault. I think that I think it comes down to is, you got 1%ers that believe that they own that 3-piece patch. That's a big deal to them. And I think that, knowing that, the Iron Order are law-abiding bikers, I think the 1%ers have a huge problem with that. And they feel that they own that 3-piece patch and it bugs them. And so I think when they, you go to these expos, you go to these festivals and you get these guys together and you get a little alcohol, whatever else is involved, things are going to happen, So,
okay.
It's tragic. I think it's horrible because there were some people there with their families, like we talked about earlier, kids. And now we got a corrections officer and they're showing this corrections officer on the television holding the gun as they're, pushing him up the stairs. And now it's a big cover up and things aren't being, or released because it's law enforcement and they're trying to cover this thing up. So,
okay,
that's where we're at with that.
Dude, good stuff.
That's a good point. Yeah, that was the whole conspiracy of the cover it too. I didn't even touch on that. That's awesome.
So here's what I say. I've got so many freaking notes here, guys. Here's what I submit to you. And this is, and correct me if I'm wrong. I could be full of shit, which happens a lot. Everybody talks about this corrections officer. Okay. If you really dig down into the story and you get to the facts, unless you've seen something I haven't, a lot of people are making it believe that he was that corrections officer in that picture that you see holding the gun was the actual shooter,
right,
of the Mongols member.
And that's what they're claiming.
That is not right.
That's what it's claiming. Right. The media is claiming that.
Some of the media, I dug down and I drilled down farther. Okay. What is true? And again, I'm not saying this is 100%, but what is true is that corrections officer fired a shot. Okay. And when the melee broke, that picture is not necessarily of the actual shooter who may have not been a corrections officer at all that actually shot the Mongol. That picture has not been released. So these basement bloggers started showing his picture, wanting to make everybody believe because there was a picture of him holding a gun that he was the shooter. There was actually multiple people that shot.
Now, see, on some of them that I read, they were saying there was a Iron Order member that shot and one Mongol that had a firearm that shot, and they exchanged fire with each other.
See, and I think there was more.
Picture, and they're saying that
he shot once, is what they say. That corrections officer, they say, shot once.
Oh, I got you.
But I don't know. And so here's another point, and Matt, I'll pause and then you can jump in because I know you got stuff to say. Let's just work on this correction officer theory. And that's why they want to make it, which we'll get into, the cop club conspiracy, which it's not. Is they're trying to pin, and it's funny because even a basement blogger after that came back and said, well, even they spoke the truth a little bit. Well, he fired a shot. But at first, the first 3 days, they tried to make it look like, and that's when the cop club. So we right now may have somebody in the Iron Order that wasn't even a cop, yet it's getting the label cop club shooting. And that corrections officer, my last point before I pause and let Matt Pass jump in, is that corrections officer, they show his picture, and then a lot of people want to bitch about, well, he was in cuffs. And then all of a sudden, police were, the reason he was taken out of cuffs and make a call, that's because I'll tell you real quick from a law enforcement standpoint, when you go to a situation like that, obviously the Iron Order, we all know they cooperate with investigations. They are completely 100% cooperative with law enforcement, which is why they are not an outlaw motorcycle gang, because the Mongols are not cooperating. The Iron Order always cooperate. And again, I'm not associated with them. I'm not in the club. I'm just telling you my research. From every investigation I can see, they cooperate. And so it's very common for many people to get handcuffed when there's a shooting.
Absolutely.
We've handcuffed up to 20 people.
Oh, absolutely.
You should.
Yeah, we're taking everybody and people got guns or people are pointing it. We're going to detain people legally. And then we start making the determination. We start weeding out. And that's a legal detention for all you out there.
Not an arrest. It's a detention.
Yes. Based on safety concerns, based on community caretaking. We're just going to secure anybody who's pointing at anybody, everybody and then we slow it down.
Right.
And we take a breath and we start looking. What they found out really quick, I believe, I'm guessing a little bit, is that he was not the actual shooter of the Mongols. So they let him out of cuffs to make a call. That is very, very common for law enforcement to do.
Absolutely.
So that point that they make is just horse crap. So I'm going to pause it there. And I know Matt Pass is chomping at the bit.
Well, there's a couple things. So when I first ran across this and first started hearing about it, the first thing I heard was the correction officer fired a couple warning shots in the air, right? I had read that on a blog or a newsreel, and I don't know if you guys heard the same thing.
I hadn't heard that.
So there was a couple warning shots, hey, stop or I'm going to shoot type thing. Then the report was, which is more streamlined now, is, hey, go ahead and he went to the top of the stairs and started waving a gun around saying, hey, I'm going to shoot. Then it was, hey, he's fired one shot and there was multiple shooters. So there was a few things that happened in line, right? And I don't know if since it's been reported, there was a couple warning shots fired in the air. If there, kind of the way it read to me was the fight got out of hand. The correction officer pulled out the gun, fired 2 shots, bang, bang. Hey, if you come any closer, I'm going to shoot you. And what you just said, Ryan, seems to be the general consensus now, what everybody's reporting on. And that is he was at the top of the stairs. Somebody charged him and he shot, right? That's been the most consistent thing that I've read. And have seen. As far as the conspiracy of the covering it up and this it's a law enforcement cover up thing now. The last thing that I read is no arrests have been made, right? I mean, is that true?
Right. That's there have been no arrests.
So there's no arrest. So whether he was whether he delivered the fatal wound or not, and whether it was self-defense or not, I'm not saying one way or the other. I don't know yet. I don't think anybody knows yet, right? That's why what we're talking about here is that no arrests have been made. So even if he did deliver the fatal shot, that doesn't say anything about any cover-up. It just means that no arrests have been made. It's still under investigation. So and like I said, I think this is going to be the hot button, the hot topic, because I'll tell you what, it's depending on where this comes out, it's going to either paint a very bad picture of the Iron Order moving forward, especially with all the things being said out here in my world. And I've even seen blogs and people talking about, hey, this is why Izod started a new club. This is why he started that new club in general, is because he knew the Iron Order was going in this direction. And he said, hey, I'm gonna go back, and I'm gonna go back to what it originally was when I started the Iron Order. So there, Iron Legacy, right? Iron Legacy, that's the new one. Right. And these are all just, I'm not saying one way or the other. This is what is talked about in the bike shops. This is what's talked about online. This is what it's saying as the Iron Order started to take more of a turn towards not outlaw, not law abiding, but somewhere right in the middle, like some form of line walking, people that aren't afraid to get in a brawl or something, or will start the trouble and then call the cops and say, we didn't do anything wrong. And that's the other thing that I've been hearing and saying, right? Is Iron Order is, they start the trouble, like they light the fuse, they back off, they call the cops, say something's about to happen, it's not our fault, which we all know is BS. I mean, the facts are facts. You guys reported the scenes and been, shit stinks, right? When someone's lying to you, shit stinks. It sounds stupid. When someone's talking, it's like, okay, that doesn't make sense. How long did it take you to get there? And then what did you do? Instead of doing this, that doesn't make any sense to me. Try again. How about you tell me that story one more time? It doesn't make sense, right? But from the perspective of an outside person looking in, Izod started a new club. He said he wanted to get back to the basics of what the Iron Order originally was. No real explanation from there, right? And then all these different things that have been happening with Iron Order. Even though there's been no convictions, I'm just telling you what the perception is. And some say perception is reality. So I'm not saying they're guilty of anything or not. What I'm saying is there's a bigger picture here to really focus on, and that is the perception of where the Iron Order is actually going. There's going to need to be some major like political moves within that organization to really make themselves look better. Because whether or not they're justified or not, everything else like that, like I said, I'm not saying they're guilty. There's some issues here. Something's got to give. And I'm not saying they need to remove their third rocker. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just simply saying, let's put it this way. If you're in 20 fights, but yet you are always found innocent and you're never guilty, something's got to give. Either you are innocent every single time you've been innocent, and that is absolutely the truth. But at some point you got to go, okay, dude, when are you just going to go ahead and step out of the situations in the first place, right? And that's where that fine line is. Should I stop what I'm doing, even though I'm doing nothing wrong? Well, for me, that's the reason I didn't go that direction. That's the reason I didn't pursue that club. I got, she was 3 at the time. I got a 5-year-old little girl. I've got a 10-year-old little girl. I don't want the heat. It's just not something I'm looking to do. It's a fun club. I liked what they're about. It looked awesome, but they get heat from all the other OMGs. It's not something that I want to put myself in a situation of innocent or not. I don't want to be in the damn situation. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm at a bar and some girl's all over me. And if my girl was to walk in, she says, hey, what's going on? Hey, it's not what it looks like. Well, I should have probably not been in the situation in the first place. I don't know. What say you guys? I kind of derailed this in a separate direction, but it's getting kind of frustrating, because I've always been an advocate. Hey, they're doing nothing wrong. They're doing nothing wrong. Well, damn it. Here goes another situation. Now I'm sure, like I said, every time they've been involved in something, it's been saying, hey, they were the law abiding group. But at some point it's like, all right, just stop hanging out with those kids, right? When you have kids, stop hanging out with them then. Your friend, stop hanging out with them. Stop participating in that stuff, right? I'm not saying don't be a biker. Don't be a part of an MC or anything else like that. But something's gonna have to be done. Some major cleanups, some major things are gonna be done. I'll stop there because I'm starting to ramble. But do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, it's just it's getting to that point.
I absolutely agree with everything he just said.
Go ahead, roll.
I really do.
Thoughts? Good stuff, Matt. Pass. Good stuff.
Within our club, we wear a 3-piece patch. We've said that time and time again. The difference with us and why you haven't seen us in the papers or in the news is because we're smart about what we do. We know that if we're going out to bars or going out to these festivals where 1% groups are going to be.
But not even where they are. Let me stop you there.
There could be potential for
if we're going to be having a few drinks,
right,
we got to look professional.
Yes.
So I guess it has nothing to do with if we're going to a dive,
right?
We're out of town and we're going to a shady bar because we want to have a few drinks. Well, we're not going to dress up and parade around. We have careers to lose, though. Exactly. Completely different because there's a lot of Iron Order that are not law enforcement.
But we also that patch on our back that we
correct
wear, that means everything to us.
Right.
So we're not going to go out and go to these festivals and go to these places, go to these bars wearing that and possibly have something happen to where we look bad and that patch is there. And that's the first thing that's going to be on the news is a sworn few patch in a negative way. We really don't want that. We don't want that. And like you said, our profession, it's a huge thing to us. This is what we do. This is what we love to do. And we don't want to jeopardize that because we went to a bar, got drunk, and some guy looked at us. And then here we are, we're in a shooting and somebody's dead. And now they're saying a cop club is the cause of some shooting in some fight. And here's a sworn few patch on the news. We don't want that. So what do? We hang out together at each other's houses. We're very particular about what we do when we're wearing our patch and when we're not. But when we have that on, we watch what we do. We don't go to bars. We don't go to festivals. We don't do that. It's just not what we do. We don't want trouble.
Right. It's well said. It's well noted. Both of you. And although I agree, we're careful about where we go. We still go to motorcycle events but we're careful about, we aren't go to the shady ones. I don't want to be there anyways, regardless. So we really don't go anywhere that we wouldn't be wearing our, for the most part where we choose where we go because we like to wear the patch and sometimes there's some 1%ers there, but we're not going to purposely go, walking in. And I'm not saying at all. So let me say this real quick for conversation. And Matt Pass, I totally understand what you're saying. I'm going to be the devil's advocate. I'm going to be the devil's advocate. Content. because I'm not
You
saying,
son of.
oh God, I'm not saying I agree with this point, but the other argument to this, I get what you're saying. And no matter how you look at it, we have a career to lose. And no matter if we were justified or not, the media is going to hang law enforcement. The liberal media is, is going to hang us.
They do already.
Right.
So don't give them a reason. You know what I mean?
Even if we were 100% correct, they're still going to make you look like shit, and we'll have our job and we'll be doing fine. And it was a justified shooting, but they're still going to hang in the media.
Oh,
now, the argument here is the devil's advocate side of me says, why should anybody, you already said it, Chewy, nobody owns the 3-piece patch.
Right.
1%ers don't own it. They're less than 1% of the motorcycling population. We're the power. We're the biggest group. Mm-hmm. So why should any law-abiding biker, including the Iron Order, give a crap? They're free people in this. I'm just being devil's advocate. They're free. Hang on. And then I'll let you go round table. I'm being devil's advocate. I know there's some conversation on it. Why? Because I know Matt Pass is hearing me. This is the argument. Why should they be afraid? You got military veterans in the Iron Order. Mm-hmm. You have every truck drivers, dentists, doctors, whatever. Why should those people who contribute to this society in a law-abiding biker fashion have to be told that they have to be careful where they wear a 3-piece patch? Because this is what they're going to argue. They work, they contribute to society. The 3-piece patch is owned by nobody. Mm-hmm. And by them not wearing it to those events, they're submitting that somehow this little 1%er culture has some legitimacy in our world where we know it doesn't. We're completely 100% law enforcement. So let's remove ourselves from that. And I get your points, but let's remove ourselves and just focus on the Iron Order, which is not a cop club. They're a law-abiding biker club.
Right.
Why should they not be able to wear, regardless of the fact that it can put them in a situation? I think they're aware of that because 1%ers don't like them. But why should they submit to a culture of less than 1% of bikers just because they don't like it? That's the devil's advocate. I'm not saying I agree with that. Any responses on that? Well, Chewy, go ahead.
The thing is, you got jackasses out there like these guys, these 1% groups that are criminals. And what do criminals do? They cause problems for people. And no, they shouldn't they should not have to worry about that. This is America. We should be able to go in with a 3-piece patch anywhere and be fine. But that's not the case.
I agree.
That's not the case because you have jackwagons like these jackasses that want to cause problems, that think that they own the world, think that they own the biker world, and think they own this 3-piece patch, and they're going to cause problems. That's the whole thing. You got jackasses in the world that are going to cause problems for you.
But do you, and I get it, do you support, and then I'll move to you, Matt. I know Matt's chomping a bit. Do you believe, though, that if they want to take the risk, do you believe they should just walk in wherever they want with their 3-piece patch? They understanding the risk.
They themselves, yes.
Okay.
Now, if you have an expo or a festival that says, no, you're not wearing colors, then that's fine with me too.
Correct.
I agree with that. But if you have a place that says, no, we're in America. We should be able to do that. We should be able to go into a festival, into an expo, wearing a 3-piece patch and be okay. But that's not the case.
Correct.
It is not the case. But if the festival allows it, I'm fine with that too. And if they don't allow it, we should all be fine with that. We should.
Yep. And that's another point we're going to talk about. Matt, pass to you.
Well, and I'm going back to your original devil's advocate thing, and I'll start by saying, and bluntly saying, I'm not a liberal and I'm not a pussy. So, but to your point, and to my original point, actually, to your devil advocacy here, why don't we want our daughters walking down a dark alley at 2:00 in the morning either? Are they doing anything wrong? No. Should they have to be concerned with doing that? Absolutely not. But the damn world of sin that we live in will tell my daughter, hey, you know what? Carry pepper spray with you. Carry this. Do that. Don't be walking around at 2:00 in the morning because you're the potential victim. Now, to your last point, now, do they want to assume that risk? Are they doing anything wrong? Absolutely not. I think it's up to the individual. Now, I'm going to assume so much risk and place myself in situations that's going to be based on my lifestyle, my beliefs, and everything else, right? There's many situations and many things that I would like to get more involved in, or in in a situation. Let's take California road rage, for example. I cannot stand road ragers. I cannot stand the fact that people consider a car to be an equalizer. The fact that, now my first assumption is these little twerps have a gun in the car or something. But even if they didn't, right? Even this thing to where they can hang out their windows, scream. And I firmly believe if one of these individuals is screaming at me on the highway and flip off these obscene things, if I was standing in the line of McDonald's, they wouldn't be doing this impatiently behind me in person in line at McDonald's. They're in a car, so it's an equalizer. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they got a gun in the car. What I'm simply saying is my flesh, and I go back to my Christian, my flesh tells me to knock their block off, to teach them a lesson, to bring them up to speed, right? But the world we live in, right? And here's the thing, I'm a dad. That's not a good example. That's not walking in the way that I believe in and my morals. So I got to put myself in check, right? So there's different things in different situations you can put yourself in. Now, if I wanted to assume those risks, if maybe I was young and dumb and 19 years old and full of energy, maybe I participate in something like that. Who knows? But basically what I'm saying is it is up to the individual to assume some sort of risk on themselves because they're not doing anything wrong. Right. So maybe the road rage thing was a bad example because you can't get an altercation with somebody. But you get the point I'm making, right? you get what I'm saying. They're not doing anything wrong. A girl isn't doing anything wrong by walking down the street, wearing a skirt, and at 2:00 in the morning, she's coming back from a few glasses of wine with her girl. There's nothing wrong with that. But the guy down the street waiting to maybe assault that woman is a turd, right? That's a turd. It's not her fault or anything else like that, but she's still the victim. So if you're going to participate in something that makes you a victim, and we've talked about this a little bit before, right? If you're going to participate in something that makes you a potential victim, you need to decide whether or not you're going to choose to stay in that environment. And back to what I was saying earlier when I'm on my first soapbox was, at what point do you say, man, I really need to stop doing this? When does it become too much for you? And then when do the people that are deciding that this is drawing too much attention leave, and the other people a little bit more brawny and a little bit more of the, hey, I'm not doing anything wrong and want to defend themselves? When do they stop considering that a fine line and actually start participating in more violent behaviors just because they're pissed off? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's at what point do these members go, you know what? Our club, we love our club, but we're getting too much heat. We think this way. We don't want to assume so much risk. We're going to start going this way. And all that's left are the people that really want to stand their ground. Nothing wrong with standing your ground. But a lot of the times what comes with that type of mentality, behavior, and machismo and testosterone leads to other behaviors as well. And that's also dangerous, right? And like I said, I'm not a liberal, not a pussy. I believe in men standing their ground. I think we need more Christian men. We need more men that are willing to stand for what's right, to go out there, stand firm in their belief. I don't even care if you're a Democrat. If you're a Democrat, well, then have a backbone and stand for what you believe in. You don't necessarily have to be a Republican. I'm more of an in-between guy myself, but I always fall more towards the conservative Republican side when I vote, just because what I'm saying is stand for something. But at the same time, at what point do we stop assuming that risk? And when does that start becoming a problem?
Awesome, Matt Pass.
You know what my dad used to tell me?
Yeah.
Son, don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to fail. Don't put yourself in that situation. If you know it's a bad situation and you feel it's a bad situation and you can see that it's a bad situation, don't put yourself in it. Nice. Bad things are going to happen.
Words.
And I'm not saying real quick. I just want to point out, I don't want people to think that all of a sudden I'm against like law abiding clubs and don't be part of a club because you might draw some heat. We're all going to draw some heat. Yeah. I draw heat. People draw heat from idiots just by the color of their skin. For some reason, people don't like the color of their skin, right? So people are going to draw heat no matter what. I'm not saying don't stand for something, don't do whatever. You know what I mean? That's not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying that my now perception is that this particular group, not saying they've done anything wrong, but this particular group has now drawn enough heat to where if I was a member, and I don't know if you guys, Chewy, right? I don't know. But if I was a member of this particular group, I would say, man, I loved what we stood for. I love what's going on, but I've got to cut my ties. For me, it doesn't suit my lifestyle. We're catching too much heat. So sorry to interrupt.
No,
I just wanted to make that clear.
I love it. And that's great stuff. We're going to thank a sponsor real quick, and then I got some great stuff to go right off what we were talking about, guys, on that. So awesome. Let's thank a sponsor. Here, Chewy, what do you think about that? That's right, Bikeaholics. This episode brought to you by our friends over at Biker Planet. They obviously care about the biker community by supporting this very show. So let's show them some love, huh? That's right, Biker Planet. It's more than just the largest niche biker dating site. It's an entire social community of bikers, guys, even if you're not interested in dating. Looking for a date or relationship? Well, then heck, find a dating relationship with someone that loves motorcycles and the lifestyle just like you. Not looking for a date? No problemo, Chewy. That's right. Then just simply head over there and connect with other bikers around the world. That's right. Plan rides, meetups, or heck, Chewy, just socialize. The website is super clean and user-friendly, guys. Chat, search, see who's online, browse photos, check your own private mailbox. That's right. You never know what's in there, Chewy.
I ain't checking no mailbox.
Check your mailbox, dude. No commitment, and it's free to check out. Bikeaholics. Use our special custom link, though. You'll definitely want to use it so you can get all the perks and a lifetime discount of 50% should you choose to become a full member. The link that you want to use is lawabidingbiker.com/Biker Planet, guys. Hit it for us and show Biker Planet some love. That is the link to use. All right, so back into that. Definitely thank our sponsors and make this show possible, guys, along with our patrons, of course. So a couple things on that, Matt Pass, to just roll right off that. This is just such a great conversation, and we're going to go a little long. Are you okay with that, Matt?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Sorry, I get I get a little heated on my soapboxes sometimes, so I'll try to rope it back in a little bit.
It's great stuff, man. No, it's great stuff.
Please don't do that, Matt.
No, it's good
We
stuff.
like you to be who you are. That's why Law Abiding Biker is real, man, because we all just are who we are. So please, I love it. So here's what I say. I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing. Everybody has to make a family choice. What's most important to you? And if you're making decisions, that are putting you like, and Chewy, you said it well. It was a great saying that your dad, right?
Yep.
Told you, don't put yourself in a situation that you already know is a failure situation. That's paraphrasing, but, on the devil's advocate side, and I agree, I have a level, and there's a level where I need to support my family and I can't risk, losing my job, for a patch, right? And there'll be some say, oh, stick up for your patch, don't be a wussy, whatever. I have a level because I have responsibilities different than the criminal element, different. And again, I just want to make sure we're not saying that the Mongols or who was at fault here. We're going to get to some facts.
No,
but
not at all. Yeah.
We're just saying in general, we're saying what kind of personal experience, what we would do. So here's what I say, that the argument would be that by the Iron Order, a lot of them getting out at this point, saying it's not worth the risk to me, my family, right? I've got kids, is exactly what the 1% is trying to do to them. It's exactly,
that's true.
And by them submitting, they're going to say some will say it gives total credibility to the 1% element and owning. Now, again, less than 1% of bikers, less than 1%, even though they're called the 1%, are a legitimate force to be reckoned with in the biker community, even though they are the smallest, less than like a pubic hair of the population, that small. And so, I guess
I think they need to get together though.
Well, I think they are.
When they're going to these events, it's some of it's common sense. There's issues, with your patch, the Iron Order.
But not everybody thinks this.
But there is. And history has shown that they have been involved in some major things. Start using common sense. What do we do? When we start to go out, when we're going to go on a ride, we talk about what we're going to do. Okay, we're going to this place. Yeah, we may not want to wear our cut over there. Okay, yeah, let's not do that. Oh, okay, we're going to go to Sturgis. Okay, we're going to take our cuts off the day before. Okay. Why do we do that?
So I agree with you, but I gotta argue the other point because I've seen it. Why? You have military veterans in there that served in Iraq and Afghanistan that risked their life to give those people the very freedoms that they have to wear that 3-piece patch. Who is anybody to say they can't wear their patch when and how they want if they're willing to take those risks? How is that not common sense if they say, you know what? I put blood for this country. My brothers died next to me in battle. I am not going to come back to this country and let a criminal, a convicted felon, tell me how and where. It is battle to me.
No, I don't.
I'm just being devil's advocate.
I don't have a problem with that at all. I think, you know
me
what?
neither. I think that's perfect.
Yeah, if they want to do that, hey, you know what? More power to you. I'm just thinking from my side of it. You know,
and I agree.
I'm thinking, you know, I have kids. I got a wife. They enjoy me. I enjoy them.
That's not what they say.
Yeah, probably true.
Just
No,
wide open for that one.
probably true. But, you know, it's like you got to use common sense. We got to make smart choices sometimes.
No, and I know.
You know what I mean?
And I just want to make, I guess I want to separate the fact that there's our belief and how we operate, but I don't want to say that's how they should operate.
No, and I don't, if they choose to do that, and that's, hey, they have the right. You are exactly right with what you're saying. But I'm saying from my standpoint, I'm going to step back and look at the whole picture.
And I agree with you.
Is it worth getting shot over or getting into a melee? Well, I end up shooting somebody. I mean, I'm going to protect myself at all risks, yes, but is there a way that I could have prevented this from happening?
Correct. Totally well taken. And the only other thing I'll say is on the heels of that, because I think we've kind of beat that. We've beat that dead horse for sure. Because we've got a lot of other points to be made here. That's the dead horse. You know, is the and Matt Pass said it as well. Is horse. do we you know, is this, like he says, because he hears a lot of stuff down in California, and is this I believe that this is some sort of turning point, because there has been enough incidents. The Iron Order is going to have to make a decision, and regardless of the fact of who's a criminal club and who's a 1% or a law-abiding biker club, regardless of the fact of that, there's a choice to be made, and that is, are we going to buck up and continue, because it is a war, and regardless if you're law-abiding or not, it's become somewhat of a war. This is only going to fuel it more, and the Iron Order has some big decisions within the ranks to make on. And Matt Pass may have a lot of it right. There may be some leaving. It may very well up their numbers as far as I'm concerned, because there's enough, you know, military people coming out of the military and stuff, you know, that may say no, you know, we are. And so I don't know, you know, but I do believe, like Matt Pass, this is somewhat, you know, the other incident, this is the kind of the straw that has broken the camel's back. And I think that there's some huge decisions, personal decisions and club decisions that need to be made. What do you say, Matt?
Well, when it's getting to a point to where the Department of Defense and the military, you know, the UCMJ, the Uniform Code of Military Justice, is looking to include the Iron Order MCs to conversate about it. I don't think it's going to go anywhere personally, but conversate about making them a club to where they're not able to be associated with military personnel, saying if you are in the Iron Order or you associate with the Iron Order, you're going to be subject to the UCMJ, which is the Uniform Code of Military Justice, right? So, which is horrible, because I have a lot of brothers that went career in the military that are part of the Iron Order, right? Few of them, right? A good handful of them. That's hard, right? That's a hard thing to swallow. I'm talking if I was part, let's just call them all an enterprise, right? And let's talk about them like a company. When a company has a certain perception at some point, enough things have happened where customer service has fallen or something. You don't want to change the name of the company. The company actually may have a good product, whatever it may be. But what needs to happen now is the leadership either needs to be replaced, or there needs to be some form of restructure to change the perception of that company. Because what's happening is, and I think whether it's the Navy, maybe it was the Air Force, not the Navy, the Navy, not the Air Force. So I don't want to mislead. There's already a branch of our military that is saying you cannot be part of the Iron Order. It's already happening. And when I find it, I'll send it over to you, Ryan. It's already happening. Okay. So now when you get the lean, mean green branches like the Army, and I'm ragging on any other branch, even though I was Army, whatever. What I'm saying is when you get the two big old, honking, machismo, the Marines and the Army, you get those branches saying you can't be associated. Something's wrong, whether you have done anything wrong or not. There's a problem. This is all I'm saying. This is my only point when it comes to the Iron Order, because I've always honestly been an advocate. Thought they were great. The problem is the perception. The problem now is the attention they are grabbing. Right or wrong, assume the risk. Great, it is America. You fought for your country. Wear your damn patch. I don't care. You're assuming the risk. However, from an enterprise level, from a height, from a upstream looking down, there needs to be some major restructuring. Chewy mentioned it before. We got to start thinking better. We may not want to wear our cuts over here. Something needs to give, or the law-abiding portion of Iron Order is not going to I'll rephrase. The Iron Order MC is not going to attract truly law-abiding bikers looking to have a good time anymore. The people see that they attract trouble. That's attractive to them, and they're going to join saying, I don't care if I attract trouble or not, and they're going to be more hotheads. I don't think it's a hard thing to figure out. And I think the Iron Order should do a little bit of restructuring. That's my personal opinion. There's a lot of talk on the streets out here. It's not because I think they're a bad club or anything else. Let's talk about the facts. You're drawing too much damn attention. Something's happening where you're involved. Whether you're guilty or not, you're involved. I don't care how it's happening. My mother used to say that when my brother and I would come to brawls. I don't care who started it. At this point, I'm sick of hearing you two boys fight. Go outside, knock each other out for all I care, but figure it out because I'm sick of hearing it. I'll pause there again. I mean, what do you think?
The guy's freaking Matt. I love Matt. I love this guy. God, because he's like me. He's passionate. He knows his stuff. And Chewy's passionate too. God, we couldn't have asked for a better three.
And I think I wanted to mention before, we talked about, these bad places. We're not trying to say that this Colorado festival, at least I'm not trying to say that was a bad festival or it attracted junkies.
No, it's huge. It
was just something that we were talking about at that point.
Right. No, good call. Good call. No, Chewy, and you got a lot of insight on this, and I love it too. Chewy's been awesome. Right back in the studio and picked up like he's never left, man.
Oh, yeah.
So let me ask you this, Matt Pass. I'm interested in this because I'm looking at my notes here, and you said that Brown, and you talked about the UCMC and all that kind of stuff. So you're saying that a military branch is trying, because I haven't read that, and I totally I believe you because I know you. A military branch is trying to somehow classify, because I know the federal government has come out, the ATF and all them, and they don't classify the Iron Order as any type of gang. And the reason is, and I mentioned it in my article, is because I can find nothing that ties the Iron Order MC to any kind of RICO, which is racketeering, influence, corrupt organization. That's a huge federal act that helps take down gangs and mafias and things. And they've taken down the Mongols, in fact, with the RICO Act. They used it heavily against the Mongols, and it was very successful. But so here's what I'll say, and then I'll pass it to you, Matt. I say, the federal government is not deeming them an OMG, outlaw motorcycle gang. They have no evidence to do that. You're saying there's another branch outside of the ATF within just the military that can go ahead and do that without any evidence of such?
Well, I'll explain it like this. So there is the UCMJ, and then there's your federal laws, right? Okay, when you're a soldier in the military, you are subject to both state and federal law, right? And you're also subject to UCMJ, which is a whole separate structure altogether, right? It's the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Now, the Army's number one priority, the military's number one priority is to protect their soldiers and to make sure their soldiers are participating in the right things. Now, they even go as far, and those military vets that I know what's gonna, all these different things are gonna pop up in the IM here. And the military goes as far, and I participate in them as well, to before you are released for your Thanksgiving holiday, they will give you a speech on what not to eat if food has been left on the counter too long. It's called safety. It's a safety formation you have before you're released for your leave, because they need to make sure that they've proven that we have covered all the safety for our soldiers. So if anything happens, they've been forewarned, they've been trained, they've been coached, they've been mentored. So what the military is concerned with is the perception and the crap that's been associated with the Iron Order, now to date. It's not so much what have they done, what can we prove they've done, are we going to apply them through the federal government as an OMG. The military is saying, look, there's been enough crap that's happened that says there's been enough crap that's happened that we're gonna talk about it. We're definitely gonna bring it to a conversation. We're not saying we're going to make association from the Iron Order, illegal or against the rules in the military, but it's definitely gonna be something we've talked about. It's gotten their attention. So whether or not they're classified as OMG, I mean, military bases have banned people from going into certain parts of town because that's where everybody gets rowdy. If you're caught on this side of town, you're gonna get an Article 15. You're gonna be subject to punishment because we know being over there isn't illegal, but we don't want our soldiers over there. So don't associate with that side of town or that club or that event. If you go to that event, and my company commander did it when I was in the Army, don't go here because if you go there, you're disobeying a lawful order, and we don't want you there because we know there's potential problems there. Is it illegal for a civilian to go there? No. Is it classified as some gangbanging place or some place where people are doing drugs? No. But the Army has said, or in my case, my company commander had said, there's enough issues that arise over there. We don't want you there. And they could do the same thing to anything they want. It could be a golf club, it could be a BMW club. Doesn't matter. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, totally. Okay. And I love that input because I am not prior military. I've been in law enforcement since I was basically 20 years old. So I know structure and stuff, but I don't know all that stuff. So that's interesting because there are active duty military in the Iron Order. And so that could heavily affect their club membership. And I'll tell you, and again, I'm not, please understand, and everybody that knows that listens to the podcast, we're very open. I've never had a bad experience with the Iron Order MC or the Mongols ever, personally. We've had both in this town. And so I'm totally trying to, talk from a perspective of that, not be biased, I guess. Yeah. Never had a bad experience with either of them. And I will tell you though that there are, and we talk about it, there are very brainwashed law enforcement officials throughout the United States.
There are.
And law enforcement officers that even a total 100% law enforcement club, we've talked about it. We're not going to hit on it hard, but that they believe because you wear a 3-piece patch, somehow you're up to dirty activity. And it's just so retarded. And they're just brainwashed from their little organized motorcycle gang conferences and stuff that they go to, and they come back and they're all hot to trot and stop every biker because bikers are all bad.
Well, dude, I've been to some of those trainings, and I tell you what, they sure bash the cop clubs. They do not like them.
No, and so it's ridiculous. And that's a very few law enforcement officers are like that, but there are that are totally brainwashed.
And I shouldn't say just cop clubs, law-abiding biker clubs.
Right.
They just bash them. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, totally. And so they're, and so obviously they're brainwashed too on that. And I guess I'll move to the next subject on that let's talk about the cop club. And I will say that they're with the Iron Order. My point on that was, I kind of lost track there. My point on that was there are people talking in the LEMC community. And this isn't, I would never, I just want the audience to know what I bring to you is strictly what I know off Google and stuff. I obviously can't disclose anything in a capacity of that I learned as a law enforcement officer. I didn't learn it from that.
Right.
There's a lot of different topics going on in different blogs and stuff that, there are a lot of officials within law enforcement that are concerned about members of their agencies being involved with the Iron Order at this point. And that's well-known public knowledge. That's no insight that I have or anything like that. And whether they're justified or not, I don't know. But, there are different deals within law enforcement. There's unions and things like that. So unless they can prove that they're involved in criminal activity, which they won't be able to do likely, then they really can't restrict them.
Right. But some policies say hanging out with undesirables, that's prohibited.
Yeah. And those policies would be squashed by a strong union.
Right.
You can't hang out with convicted felons. And, as law enforcement officers, we can't hang out with known criminals. But the Iron Order are not that. They do background checks, and so... Right. So it's going to be a interesting, because there are some law enforcement, I honestly know none, personally that are involved, but we don't have a chapter around here, I guess, of the Iron Order. The nearest one, I think, is an hour away. So that is going around just like the military. There's a little more leadway with law enforcement because there are unions involved and all that kind of stuff. But let me move on. And I think that's great stuff, Matt Pass, that you brought up, and Chewy both. Let's move on to this, because we're doing good though. This is a great episode, and I love this topic. And I know we got a lot of people in the live viewing live. So let's talk about the media, and let's talk about the incident a little more.
Okay.
So obviously we've talked a little bit about the basement bloggers, and I'll tell you right now that the basement bloggers, you will not see their faces like you're seeing our faces right now, public, completely open. And Chewy gave the thumbs up, talking about this, because they're too scared with their viewpoints and their lack of evidence to come on and talk crap. We're coming on. We're not afraid to do that because we're talking facts. We're talking our life experience, but they obviously may not even understand how to use Blab. They would rather just write a quick article and get some trash and go with it. But we have no problem coming on here. And this is, obviously has been highly requested, this episode. So that's why we're here. Let's talk about this whole deal about the cop club. And I'm going to refer back real quick before we get into that topic. I just want to tell you guys, back in episode 64 and 65 of the Law Abiding Biker podcast, you can get those episodes, of course, in iTunes or the app or any 64 and 65, or you can go to lawabidingbiker.com/64 or 65, and you can listen to those. And I interviewed back in the day, which seems like back in the day now. I interviewed Ray, which I got my mind going here because I want to ask Matt something, but I interviewed Ray Izod, aka Lubeski, of the Iron Order. He was the international president for quite a few years, one of the founders of the Iron Order. Again, Ray Izod Lubeski. And part 1 and part 2, 64 and 65, you really need to go back and listen to those episodes now that this is at the forefront and in front of us and something we're discussing. It gives a lot of insight into the Iron Order and what they're about and what they're not about and all that kind of stuff. I think it would be very beneficial for everybody to go back and listen to those episodes. But talking about that, he specifically mentioned in those episodes, and I know it to be true, is that there are actually the Iron Order is not a law enforcement motorcycle club, quote, cop club, although it has been portrayed that way. And there's reasons for that we're going to get into. It is not a cop club. In fact, its lowest membership number is law enforcement. Yes, there is law enforcement in the Iron Order, but it is not an LE club, and they have doctors, and they have dentists, and they have lawyers, and they have truck drivers, and they have carpenters, and they have private business owners, and everybody in between. They don't specify who they will take other than you can't be a convicted felon. They do background checks and things like that. So let's set that up. And he talks about some of that and the length they go in the background checks and things like that. And actually, what their membership is about. And I know that Matt Pass obviously knows people in the Iron Order. I have met a few here and there, and they've always been very respectful and nice. Again, both clubs. I've never had a problem with the Mongols or the Iron Order. And so here's where we go from here, guys, in the discussion. A lot of the liberal media, and they're obviously being fed. I'll throw that out there, and we can get in that deeper if you want. There are obviously being fed by special interests that have a stake in this game, and they wanted it really quickly to come out that this was a cop club shooting. Cop club shooting sounds sexy, guys. It's sexy. It sells commercial spots. Matt Pass knows that industry. It sells commercials. And the liberal media, like the Denver Post, they don't know anything about the biker culture, okay? They can't report on something that they don't know anything about, but they're going to try because it sells commercial spots, and they're being fed by special interest groups that are telling them that it's a cop club and trying to make it more than it is. And for that reason, they sell those clicks, they sell those commercials and all that. So this whole cop club, I just want to get out in the open, and I've done it in my blogs, that in no way is this a cop club. Let me tell you my argument, and then I want to go roundhouse, and then I'll pause. Calling the Iron Order a cop club is no different to me than calling, and I'm just throwing this out because I know people in the United Combat Veterans Club. Okay. I'm just using them as an example. They have both military in their club and they have law enforcement, and some are dual purpose. They're law enforcement and reserves and all that kind of stuff. So calling the Iron Order a cop club is no different to me than calling the, Veterans Combat United, I'm probably saying that backwards, but is no different than calling that club a cop club, because they have cops in their club too. They're keying on the fact that there's a few cops in there that does sell articles or commercials. It does sell those spots and all that. Or you can talk about other law enforcement clubs. Let's just talk about the Blue Knights, for example, which I have a lot of friends in the Blue Knights. Yeah. We're not talking about it. They claim law enforcement club, but they actually have 10% of their membership are honorary members. And that's in their bylaws. They're publicly open. And so why are you not calling the Blue Knights then firefighters club if they have firefighters in there that are honorary members? So I think I made my point enough on that, and I'll let you guys spawn off that. But there's a ton of clubs, and so they're picking the minority of the club to generalize. If you're going to call the Iron Order a cop club, then let's call it a doctor's club. Let's call it a carpenter's club. Let's call it, whatever other industry, a truck driver's club. The reason is, if you came out with an article that says, we have lots of truckers and I respect them for their industry, so please,
Russell
you guys out
Roberts.
there. Yes. William Cody Case out there. That's not I'm just saying, if you put an article up and you post it and say, truck driver motorcycle club gets in shooting, that is not sexy. Some people will read it, but by God, if you title that cop club shoots and in shooting with criminal motorcycle gang, holy shit, people are going to open that stuff. And that's why they're doing it. I'm going to shut up and pause and go ahead. Chewy, why don't you take it from there and tell us your thoughts, and then we'll go to Matt Pass.
Well, 2 words you just said there. You associated cop with criminal activity. So, of course, the media is going to latch onto that, and everybody is going to latch onto that. They want to see, was there a cop that was arrested? Did a cop do something wrong? Of course, that's big time. People want to see that. Some people want to see that. But I think what happens with these clubs is they should be labeled law-abiding biker clubs. If it's a strictly cop law enforcement club, then I think they should be labeled, a cop club. But then,
the Iron Order is not.
No, the media gets the media gets a hold of that, and then we are living in a day and age right now where the media want to bash the police. They want to trash the police on everything. So of course, if there is a club that has cops in it, even if there's 2 or 3, they are going to totally associate that with police officers being involved in a shooting, in a criminal activity, in a bar fight. They're going to, of course, the media is going to do that, and it's going to get big press. It's going to get people to watch it. People want to hear that. It excites people. They want to see what's going on. Is a cop, committing crime? Is a cop shooting somebody when they shouldn't be? It's big media. It's what they want to hear.
Right. No, good call. Matt, pass you.
Yeah, no, I'd love to take hold of some of that as well. I was distracted by a really lovely lady who just walked in my room. So excuse me, guys. So she's laughing at me as she's walking out right now. So it's Saturday night and she's looking at me like I'm crazy on here with you jerks. You know what I mean? She's just like, are you done yet? No, she's laughing. No, sorry. But no, look, it does sell. You are right. That does sound more sexy, but it also puts a spin on, hey, cops are doing the same thing. Cops are part of motorcycle clubs. We're just like them, right? It's not. I think it does both, right? It's hey, a cop's doing something wrong. A cop's done something bad. It's going to sell. I think the OMGs like it, and in fact, I've heard other people talk about it. Is the more they don't like the fact that cops wear a 3-piece patch. They don't like the fact that cop clubs are more protected than they are, right? Mm-hmm. They don't like all of these things, but what they do like about it, What they do like about it is, let's see how we can prove that they're emulating us. And not just emulating us in the bad ways. How can we show that we're emulating them in the good ways? Right? So that those pendulums swing both ways, right? That's going to swing both ways no matter what, especially for perception. There's been many podcast topics on it about the perception of what people think when they just see, a leather cut with patches and stuff on it, right? People, we talked about that a lot. But absolutely, A, it does sell, and B, there is a way to say, hey, cops are just as much. This is what a biker is. This is what an MC is, and they're just like us, or we're just like them. That's going to be that pendulum is going to swing both ways. And to your point of calling it a cop club, you're absolutely right. I mean, you might as well call it a veterans club, or you might as well call it a doctor's club, or a firefighters club, or anything else, or whatever, a veterinarians club. Doesn't matter, right? The fact that there's is the fact that there is law enforcement inside the club means absolutely diddly, right? It would be funny if they called it an executives club, right? No one wants to hear about someone who's in a suit and tie, executives club and shooting with outlaw biker gang, right? That doesn't sound cool, right? Sales executive shoots OMG, right? That doesn't sound cool, right? Or maybe it does, pencil pusher defends himself and kills outlaw biker. That might sell. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Ryan. I don't think I could cover it any better than you did. You and Chewy both. That was fantastic.
Who's this Boo Ba Abu?
Yeah, so
most of them fat and can't fight.
So I
Give me a break.
So I got rid of them. You need to refresh your browser. Yeah. So here's the deal, and that's how we're different. We're different here at Law Abiding Biker Media. If you want to come in and have a great conversation, you're more than welcome. Babu Abu, I just completely banned for life. I deleted all his comments and I banned him for life. He'll never comment on this channel again, because a guy like that.
Awesome.
A guy like that don't have the balls.
No, he wouldn't say anything to his face to face.
He would never get and take the seat because I would have brought him on.
Because we'll burn him.
I ain't afraid of that. Come on, grab a seat. And if you're going to be disrespectful, you're banned for life. And so everybody in the chat room is thanking me for banning him.
Have an opinion, but don't be a jackass.
Right. Come with material.
Right.
Come with something credible. He's just a drunk guy out there, obviously, and we're getting lots of claps for that. So yes, you guys will never see Babu Abu again. He's banned from this channel for life, and at the click of a button, and I have no problem doing that. We like debate, but obviously he's just some drunk guy.
We invite everybody to come in here.
Yes.
You want to talk and be cool? Fine. But come on and make comments like a jackwagon like that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Not even contributing to the conversation.
Everybody was clapping me and thanks, Ryan, because while you guys were talking, Matt, I was banning him, and everybody was realizing I was deleting all his comments. Babu Abu is gone.
I was actually sidetracked by it too. I was reading at the same time I was trying to talk, so everyone probably thought, Matt doesn't even sound like what is he? Is he talking in the mic? But yeah, I was like reading and like talking at the same time. Like, who is this jackass?
Goodbye, Babu Abu. Go ride your Vespa. All right. So that's awesome though. That's the kind of stuff that's fun when it's live. All right. So good stuff though, Matt. And that's what's sexy and that's what sells. So we're going to start winding this thing down, guys. I appreciate you sticking with us. And this is going to be just a wonderful episode. So, what else do you know? So at this point, let's talk about the incident. We know the shooting. We don't have, honestly, guys, I'm going to tell you, no matter what you read at this point, unless there's evidentiary value, like a prosecutor coming out and saying, or like, let's not forget, I want to bring this up in my article. And we covered this too. And that is, let me see if I can find it. That was back in the Nippers Bar Grill shooting. And we covered that too. And I'm just trying to find my, give me a second here, guys, where I can.
You know what, Ryan, that one's a perfect example of what I was speaking on earlier. There was a lot of details there, and it was pretty obvious, pretty cut and dry scenario. You know what I mean? And when that one happened, it made, national news and things like that. And I guess I'll just kind of blab as you pull this stuff up. But, just to kind of reiterate on my initial point there, that also started what seems like damn wave of events afterwards, so I don't know, very interesting. Very interesting. But yeah, I do remember there was more coverage on that. There was more details on that. I'm not talking about from Lab Bottom Biker. I'm just talking about amongst the world. There was a lot more details. And if I researched it, there was always something about it. This one, not so much. I don't know if it's because it wasn't as cool or what, but yeah, there wasn't a lot of coverage.
Yeah. And I think because it's so being investigated, that a lot didn't get out. And so let me say this. Now, let's not forget, I'm just going to break it down and then we can talk about it. Okay, guys, we have no evidence right now. This is the facts. And this all comes not from my law enforcement perspective or any information I have. This comes from the internet. I've searched far and wide. We've said it. I can't find anything that the Iron Order are wrapped up in criminal activity. I can't find anywhere that they've been involved in any kind of RICO investigations. I can't find that they're running guns. I can't find that they're running drugs. I can't find that they're murdered. I can't find any court records of those kind of things. We're fair and equal here. Okay. I can't find it. And I've asked people that have disagreed on Twitter and stuff, which is cool. I don't mind debate. Not a one of them can send me anything. This is all disclosable. If you think that happened, then go to that court of record and ask for public disclosure. They have to give it to you guys. It's called the PDR Act. It's Public Disclosure Request Act. The government is open. As long as it's an adjudicated case, they have to give it to you. So send it to me. Not a one person over the last 2 weeks has been able to send me one solid anything. So what I will tell you is, again, I've never had a bad experience with the Mongols. I'm telling you though, they have been arrested. Yeah. They are continually investigated. This is on the internet. Just type it in. There are Mongols in prison for RICO acts. There are Mongols in prison for gun running, for drug running, for murder, for conspiracy, for rape, for racketeering, and everything in between. They're serving prison time as we give this podcast. That's the facts. I'm not saying that one side or the other is responsible for the shooting, because I'm not ignorant enough to do that like other basement bloggers. I will wait for the facts. I will wait for the evidence. But that goes to credibility, right? That's the way the world works. It goes to some sort of legitimacy, or I'm obviously going to give somebody that's not a felon a little more credibility than somebody that continually or is in prison. So whether that's right or wrong, that's human nature, and that's what we do. That's called credit. The court recognizes that it's called credibility of witnesses. I think human nature recognizes who's more credible, who has a stake in the game, and all that kind of stuff. Let's note, let's not forget that there was another census event we reported in podcast episode 63. lawabidingbiker.com/63 happened on June 26, 2014, where an Iron Order member, Christopher Stone, okay, guys, I'm telling you, the evidence shows it. He was forced to shoot a criminal outlaw biker, Zachariah Tipton, after Zachariah and another Black Pistons member, they're a puppet club for another larger OMC, stalked him and then committed a brutal 2-on-1 gang style. It was an animalistic type assault on him, guys, outside Nippers Bar Grill in Jacksonville Beach, Florida. And I keep losing my place here. Based on the overwhelming evidence, clear video footage, which I have on our YouTube channel that gets a ton of hits, the state attorney stated that Stone was that's Christopher Stone, the victim who was a member of the Iron Order, that he was well within the law to defend his life from the brutal 2-on-1 attack. Okay, even with all that evidence and the video, once in a while, somebody still comes back and says, that's not the whole video. Okay, it is the whole video. Okay, it shows it from start. It doesn't show 15 minutes prior, but it shows those events leading up to two guys going behind him and brutally attacking him from behind. And he was a military veteran and he defended his life. And the prosecutor said, so that's evidence. Yep. Guys, that is evidence. And watch the video, go to our YouTube channel and look up Black Piston shooting or anything like that, or our website. You'll find it. The video is very clear. What he was putting on a helmet. Zachariah Tipton, member, he was hiding. He was putting on his helmet before the attack. Some of them were putting in, there was even mouth guards. Some of them witnesses said they were putting in mouth guards. They were going
gloves.
Yeah.
His gloves on.
Yes. Gloves. I mean, they weren't going to say hi. And then they didn't even attack him face first. We did a whole podcast on that, guys. I'm not going to get into that very much, but take it for what it's worth. Again, not one way or another right now. And am I saying, just understand that this could very possibly be, I'm not saying it is because I don't have that evidence, but understand it could be a self-defense act. The fact that there's a picture of the guard at the top of the stairs with a gun means nothing to me. No. What that means is what's already proved that there were shots fired. Yeah. Law-abiding citizens carry guns. Get used to the fact of that. We carry them legally.
I carry a gun.
We are Americans. We can carry guns. We enjoy carrying them. We will protect ourselves if we need to. So that fact that he's up there and he has a gun means nothing to me. Yeah, America. Except that the fact that he had a gun. Okay, great. We know that. Big fucking deal. He had a gun. Okay, he shot. Great. Now we're going to find out why he shot, what led up to the shooting.
Right.
Was he justified to shoot? That is what everybody needs to wait for, aside from the basement bloggers who have already tried it in their little basement. So I'm going to leave that at that. And then one more subject and we'll wrap this up. Chewy, what do you got to say about that? About the evidence and what else you know about the case, or things that a little insight, anything?
Yeah. There's not a whole lot that there is some things that we know. Some people were stabbed. One guy died. The Iron Order were involved and the Mongols were involved. We don't really know what started the fight. We don't know who started the fight. So there's a lot. I still have a lot of questions. There's still a lot of things up in the air.
Okay, very good. Let me thank a couple of these real quick, and then Matt Pass, I'm going to go to you. Of course, we love our patrons. Matt Pass on Blab right now is a patron, and he's supported us since the very beginning. Of course, we don't balk. If you can't be a patron right now, we get it. That happens. You still want to support us, you can, of course, just leave a flat donation. We, of course, love those. I want to thank Kevin Bain of Inglewood, Colorado. Substantial donation. That is freaking awesome.
Thank you, buddy.
Michael Baldonado of Deming, New Mexico. Thank you so much. Jonathan Ing, I-N-G, I believe. I hope I did that right. N-G, Ing. Jonathan Ing of Milton, Georgia. Thanks so much. They took action. They went over to lawabidingbiker.com/donate. They want to make sure this content continues to come their way. They want to support us. That's right, guys. lawabidingbiker.com/donate. Matt, I'm passing it to you on that. Any other stuff that you found or information or evidence or kind of what you're waiting for?
Everything that I've read as far as causing the fights and things like that it started with racial slurs. That's what I found. African-American male as part of the Iron Order MC went to the bar. The Mongols were shouting racial slurs at him from what this article said out of nowhere. Right. I'm not going to be biased saying this is just what I read. Right. And a lot of this time, this stuff doesn't make sense to me. Are there people out there that are just going to start shouting racial slurs? Sure. Am I saying that I believe what the article wrote? No, I'm sure there's going to be witnesses that come forward and say, no, this is actually what happened. But what I read was he goes to the bar, minding his own business. When Mongols start talking smack to him, you N-word this and this, that, and the other thing. He ignores them, doesn't say anything back, keeps his mouth shut, orders his beer. One of the Mongols doesn't like the fact that he's not talking smack back, so takes it a step further, knocks a drink out of his hand, and that's how the fight erupted, right? And if somebody read something similar, a little bit different, I don't know, but that's what I've learned, and that's all I know so far. It went a little haywire. Some people say the Mongols drew some knives. So then some people from the Iron Order group drew guns, one of them being the correctional officer. One article says that he shot 2 times in the air, or someone shot in the air just as warning shots, but then he got charged with a knife and he shot and killed him. And then another one says, hey, all of this is true, except that he went to the top of the stairs, then pulled his gun and waved it around like, hey, look at me. You better not come any closer or I'll shoot you. A guy charged him and then he shot him. Right. So that's in a nutshell, in about a 30-second spiel, what I've learned. And I'm hoping, I have buddies out there, I'm waiting to hear back whether or not they were at the convention or not. Haven't heard back from them. I haven't talked to them in a while, but I know they go to the motorcycle conventions out there. So I've thrown out a few lures out there to see if any of them will give me a call, part of some of the same riding associations. I'm trying to see if they went. So,
right.
But we'll see. But no, that's all I got, Ryan. And like I said, I think the biggest thing that came out of this for me was a lot of the talk that started to happen now, and that all has to do with perception. And I think, like I said, it's, I wish the Iron Order the best. I think it's unfortunate someone lost their life. That's never good. I don't care what club you were a part of, who you were a part of, whatever. The fact that someone lost their life, and that is awful. I hate the fact that this person was a father and that some children are left without a father and things like that. I think that's awful. But in the great scheme of things, when this is all over, if the I'll just repeat myself one more time. If the Iron Order was a business, leadership now needs to step in and say, how are we going to change the perception of our company? How are we going to reshape and configure? How are we can continue to attract real law-abiding people when we are, and a lot of it has to do with that they're the largest, right? They're the fastest growing and largest law-abiding club out there, right? And like you said, we can't dig up any dirt on them and things like that. So they probably will get the most heat, right? I mean, come on. If they were a smaller law-abiding biking club, right? Law-abiding bikers, they would get less heat, but because they're everywhere, they're going to catch the most of it. So I give some credit to that as well, right? So we can't just simply say has something to do with the Iron Order. Well, they're huge. So yeah, they're going to attract a lot of heat. I get that argument as well, but still, when a company starts to grow, and I hate the fact I always revert this back to some form of business development or enterprise type association, but when a company grows and it starts to grow huge, you now need to start reconfiguring your executive leadership and how you're going to be delivering the same message and how you're going to start doing things on a national and global level. You need to figure this out. I think for an OMG, it's a little bit easier. Hey, we're OMGs. It's pretty simple the way we act. So whether you're in Australia, Montreal, Canada, England, no matter where you're at, whatever, but they are organized, right? I think the Iron Order has a lot of work to do, and I don't think it's going to be easy. They are the largest law-abiding biker club out there. They are going to attract the most heat. So now some restructuring needs to do. I think Chewy made a lot of good points when it came to a lot of that. And I wish him the best. I hope him the best. And I really hope the best for the truth. Whatever the truth reveals, that's ultimately what I want. And it really sucks if someone lost their life. But yeah, I really do think the Iron Order has a lot of work to do. I can't emphasize that enough. I think it's important.
Absolutely. And and I reiterate what Matt said. Of course, we don't want anybody to lose their life. Condolences. Somebody, whoever it is, was, likely, a father, a son. These incidents are so tragic all the way around because they're so senseless. It's over nothing. Yep. It's over egos. And again, I'm not, that's just unfortunately something we have to deal with in society. Let me just say real quick that just wait, guys. And I know all you out there, and thanks for the claps, guys, on that. I appreciate it. I know you guys will wait out there to pass judgment one way or another because we don't know. Even though you might side with one or the other, please don't do that. We're better than that. And that's what makes the law-abiding biker community different than the rest is we don't jump to conclusions. We wait for evidence. We wait for the facts. We all, of course, have our personal opinions based on personal experience. That's life. But I'm smart enough to hold mine and go check myself. Okay. Because that's not the way we should do it. We should give everybody the benefit of the doubt until we find the evidence. There's likely, guys, I'm telling you this from a LEO perspective, not any information I have. I can tell you guys, my guess is that the Expo Center, it is a very large facility. This is a very large motorcycle event. It's huge. It draws a lot of money and a lot of vendors and a lot of big names. I would find it very interesting if they didn't have surveillance cameras in there. The reason you haven't seen the footage, guys, if they do have it, is they don't release that immediately. They actually seize it.
Right.
Okay. They're going to seize it. It will eventually, once it's disclosable to the public, because it's under investigation, they have the right to withhold that video. So I'm just telling you, do not be surprised if eventually you see video footage of the exact altercation, just like at Nippers. I mean, private businesses have this, and the Expo Center is huge, and I bet this is on surveillance. So that's my one point. Number two, there's going to be a lot of witnesses. I'll tell you from my 20 years LEO experience that no matter how many witnesses are there, and I know Chewy can tell you this, and I know Matt Pass can tell you this, there's going to be witnesses there that are going to say different things.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a couple reasons for that. Yep. Number one, shit happens fast. And even though a witness is telling the truth, I've had witnesses tell me stuff that the physical evidence was completely against, and they thought it was true. It's because some people aren't good at stress and things happen fast. Number two, there's going to be some people with an interest involved. Okay. And so you're going to have some witnesses, of course, the Mongols, or I'll even dare to say on the Iron Order MC, I'm just saying, because I'm being fair and balanced here, that are going to have a stake in the game. So those witnesses are obviously going to have different stories and different perceptions, and both sides can be telling the truth, but they both perceive something different on the danger of the situation. Right. So just be aware of that. That is how humans are. And I've come to accept that over 20 years LEO. They're just, humans are humans, and you take it to as much credibility as you can, and then you corroborate it with the physical evidence, which will be the video, any blood evidence, any gun evidence, any stuff like that. You corroborate the witness statement. You always go from the physical evidence first because it doesn't lie.
Right.
We always go for the physical evidence first, and then we corroborate it with witness statements. But we always want the physical evidence because it can't talk and it doesn't have a mind and it has no stake in the game. I don't want to bore you, and I know I'm getting on a tangent there, but I just want to say that because I know a lot of listeners appreciate that inside perspective on that. Of course, you guys can respond to that. Last thing is, the Mongols are doing some serious PR. We've got an attorney with the Iron Order, and we've got an attorney with the Mongols.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm just going to say this Mongols attorney guy, this is ridiculous. Okay, so here's what's funny. This Mongols attorney, who is obviously on retainer and getting paid a buttload of money to represent these guys. Look at him. He doesn't know the first thing.
He's a tool.
He would get his ass kicked first day in a biker gang, okay? He doesn't know anything about it. He's obviously a high-profile attorney, or wants to be. He's got his little bow tie, and he's standing there on stage with a couple guys with flannels buttoned up, okay? It's just a weird-looking scene. So this attorney is, and I don't know, he's just getting paid, so he's doing what they want. But the Mongols come out, and again, I'm not talking bad about it. I'm just saying this is a dumb move. The Iron Order always cooperates with law enforcement. We said that in every investigation. So the Mongols come out and they're like, hang on. And they do this press conference with their attorney, these two Mongols and this attorney. And they do this press conference and they're like, please listen to the witnesses that saw this. Please listen to this and please do this and please have an open mind and all this. They're obviously going out and they're trying to drum up support for this incident. The funniest thing about this whole thing is they want all the other witnesses to cooperate, but they don't. The Mongols themselves still are not cooperating with the investigation. That just is so embarrassing. It should be for them that they're going out to try to get public support when they themselves are not cooperating with the investigation, but they're saying, but every other witness, we want you to tell the truth. Even though we're not going to cooperate and tell the truth, we want you to all tell the truth. Respond to that. Anybody?
They will never cooperate with the police.
Right.
No.
Did you see this event? Or this where they came out and did this? Did you see this public cry for help?
I didn't see that. I saw the lawyer. I saw him on some news feeds and I thought, what a tool that guy is.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, they're not gonna cooperate with the police.
No, and I don't think they drummed up any support by doing it either. I think, like I said, I think it made them look bad because then the general public's going, so you want us to tell the truth, but you're not going to tell the truth, but why do you want us to tell the truth? You know what I mean? Matt Pass, what do you say?
Well, there's a couple things. I mean, the attorney threw the sob stories in there, he was a devoted husband. He was a devoted father. Anybody can speak on the tragedy. Hell, I'm not taking sides. And I think I think it's tragic. Anytime something like this happens, it's tragic. But just because there's a tragedy doesn't make one party auto-magically guilty. Right. And I feel insulted when somebody talks to me as if I'm that fucking stupid. Okay. So that's my opinion on that whole damn press conference. And I actually get like goosebumps and heated just thinking about it. I don't like being talked to like I'm a freaking idiot. Okay. I hate commercials that talk to me like I'm an idiot. It makes me not want to buy the product. I hate salespeople who talk to me like I'm an idiot. Maybe that's because I'm in sales and do a lot of stuff. And I think that's a crappy way to approach things in general. So when an attorney gets up in a damn bow tie, it would have been great if he would have said, hey, look, you know what? This is being investigated. What we do know, this is a tragedy. We believe that our defense is going to show the truth in this matter. And it's going to show that this father, this person, his life was taken away, could have been avoided, and this, that, and the other thing. And I would have had a lot more respect for the guy. But to talk to the general public like they're idiots, anybody with half a brain is going to be like, don't sell me, asshole. Mm-hmm. Sorry, do I sound too pissed off? Sorry, I didn't like that crap at all.
Yeah.
Give me a freaking break, dude. Kiss my ass. Talk to me like I'm a dick. Fuck you. Sorry. Yep. Yeah, it doesn't sound, it gets me heated. Sorry.
No, I love it. No, I was the same way. This is so, and that's that they just don't know how to operate within society. And even this attorney doesn't know how to operate. They don't realize they do their self more harm by doing that. And you're right. It's like the law abiding biker community and the 99% of the population are like, are you freaking kidding me, you moron? Is this for real?
Right. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
And he's just making the decisions because he's getting paid, who knows, big bucks to do that. But yeah, aligning himself with the wrong people for sure. I'll tell you that right now. Good stuff, guys. All right, we're going to close it out here real quick. Last thing is, I'm just saying, guys, obviously you're all smart. It's not a conspiracy theory. There is no Martians on Mars that are feeding the government pills to tell law enforcement not to arrest and to tell the Denver Post and every other person reporting that this is a conspiracy. That's not going on. And the basement bloggers can keep blogging in their basement and nobody will go to their site except the 3 guys that watch it. We're here to put the perspective on it and the real, the no spin, I should say. Last Matt Pass, I want to cover, and then Chewy, you have anything on that?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Yep.
The only last thing I want to say, Matt Pass, real quick, is you mentioned it, and I think it's a point to bring up because I've heard that, and I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying, because talk goes on around the biker community, is that you talked about Izod, who was the international president, that he spun off recently and went to the new club, which is what is it?
Iron Legacy.
The Iron Legacy, and a couple other guys mentioned that. I don't have any evidence of it, but isn't that some of the talk, Matt, that he and Izod knows he's always welcome on the show. We would listen, he no problem. That he spun off because the club, and I don't know if that's rumor, or if there's any validity to that. What do you have to say to that?
The only thing that I think that spokes true to the rumors that I've heard was his website clearly states something like, and I might be a little off here, I wanted to get back. We decided to get back to the original values and the original things that got us excited about the Iron Order in the first place. So we started Iron Legacy, which more aligns with the old school guys, right? Even though the club's not that old, but his website says something like that. It doesn't say anything like the club was going in a bad direction. I had to get out of there. Nothing like that. The word around, though, is that the club's getting a little out of control. It's growing too fast. It's losing leadership. They're getting involved and putting themselves in situations that they shouldn't be in. I don't want to be associated with this anymore. I'm going to go start this club. So I don't know how much truth there is to that or not. That's just what people are talking about, right? And, that's worth about the less than 1% of the worth of the dollar bill it's printed on, right? So that is what's being said. But if you go on the Iron Legacy website, he does mention things about going back to, and the rebirth that has the dead head, coming out, and being reborn per se and things like that. And you can make all kinds of assumptions that you want from that. But I'm just talking about what people are talking about in the biker community around here.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at the website now. I pulled it up for the first time, Matt Pass. And yeah, if we forget what we did, we won't know who we are. For as long as but 100 of us remain alive, never will we under any condition be brought under another's rule. It is the truth, not for glory, nor riches, nor honor, that we are fighting, but for freedom, for that alone, which no honest man gives up, but will life itself. And there's a whole bunch of stuff on there. Head over there, guys, and check it out and make your own assumption about, don't assume, I say, just read it for what it is.
Yeah,
and then
don't assume.
Yeah, you can make your opinions on what. And I will say, the larger the organization, the harder it is to control.
Control it, yeah.
And every motorcycle club knows that or any organization, it is very hard to keep controls in place when you get really, really big, and especially when you get really, really big, really, really fast.
Yeah. And
of course, the Iron Order has done that. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying that is, even for a company like Matt Pass alluded to, in to compare it to a large company that really needs to do some soul searching and organization and leadership and again, might be a turning point. All right, that's it, guys. Let's wrap it up. Let's do a roundhouse real quick. Any outgoing statements, Chewy, that you want to give about this incident or to the law-abiding biker community?
I just think stay tuned. Don't make assumptions. Just wait till the evidence comes out and the truth comes out, and then we'll go from there. Hopefully we can have another one of these once all that comes out, and we will talk about it.
We will. We're still waiting to do one on the Texas shooting. We covered that pretty heavily, and we're still waiting for the final results of that. There have been some results, but we definitely want, like we did. Some. Yeah. We definitely want to do that like we did Nippers after it came out, and we showed the video, and we actually went over the video and talked about the incident. So, all right, Matt Pass, what say you? Last outgoing comments, brother?
Well, I will mimic the same. Don't make assumptions, and I'm very confident in the fact, and if you haven't said it enough, I'll just reiterate the fact, Ryan, for you to give you some accolades here, is that I know that if it is determined that the Iron Order did something wrong, you will be reporting on it fully the truth and everything that was found, even if it's turned out that the law-abiding biker club, a member of them made a mistake. And I will be right here if you invite me back on to talk about that as well, because everybody makes mistakes, and I'm not saying it's going to swing one way or the other. Just in case there's any misconception, there's any type of biased motive here, that's not the case. And I am fully 100% confident in the fact that this format and your enterprise here at lawabidingbiker.com will report accurately on it. And I cannot wait to be part of it if you invite me back. And I'm going to be waiting, at the edge of my seat, researching stuff to see where this goes as well. But just wanted to make sure I emphasized on that. I think that that's really important to capitalize on again. And thanks for having me on. I don't think there's anything else that I can add other than what I have. And as always, it's been a pleasure. Yeah, no, great. Matt, love having you. You will be the first one to be back on this kind of obviously stuff. You are very passionate. You're very knowledgeable, and glad to see you on Blab. And I'm sorry for the earlier mix up, but now you're on Blab. So, we're probably going to, brother, be doing Blab like this for going into 2016 here. The audience likes it. It's a great platform. It's free, and they like the video over the audio and the chat all in one place. And we've got a lot of feedback. So just keep this Blab bookmarked, the Law Abiding Biker and all that, and you'll always join a seat and whatnot and all that. So yeah, no, absolutely love having you on, guys. Oh man, a lot of content, guys. We went long, but I know that it needed to be done. And hopefully, like Matt Pass says, we're definitely going to report one way or another. We're not biased here, guys. And I hope everybody understands that. If it comes out that the Iron Order, per the evidence, was wrong, well, then we're going to report that. If it comes out the Mongols were wrong, well, we're going to report that too. It's not a matter of taking sides here, guys. It's what we know right now. And also, we like to give some insight. We've all got different experiences. Matt Pass, we've got Dustin in the studio, Chewy, of course, and I have some insight and different life experiences. So appreciate everybody being involved in that chat room, in the Blab chat room, guys. Don't forget, guys, to get signed up on that live page, lawabidingbiker.com/live. The only emails you'll get by signing up over there in the upper right-hand corner is when we're going to have a live episode. Don't worry, though. This all comes out later if you can't, because people got jobs and lives, and I get it. Don't worry. You can definitely catch it in podcast format at a later date. It may be a bit later, but you will catch it. This one will actually be pumped out ahead of others because it's current events and happening right now, guys. All right. Don't forget, guys, the Lab podcast phone line, the hotline, 509-731-3548, or leave an internet voicemail right from your computer microphone anywhere in the world, lawabidingbiker.com/voicemail. And I will say, Matt Pass, you sounded dang good on that microphone, because that's the first time I sent Matt Pass a microphone because he's such a contributor to the show. And man,
thanks, Matt. Good info, man.
Yeah, sounds like he was right.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Sounds like he was right in the room with us, guys. All right, don't forget, if you can't help us financially, either donating or becoming a patron, we really encourage you. We got a lot of patrons in this chat, in this Blab, in the private Facebook group. Get involved in the community, guys. This is a community that is not going away. It's what we like to call part of the biker revolution, and it is definitely a revolution, guys. The #1 listened to motorcycle podcast. We proudly say that, but we definitely didn't do it by ourselves, so we did it with your guys' support. All right, with that said, guys, don't forget, if you can't support us financially, rate us on iTunes, lawabidingbiker.com/iTunes or Stitcher Radio. Helps us bump up in the ranks so more bikers around the world can find us and join this thing we call the biker revolution. All right, guys, it's been real. It's been fun. Peace out.